Hi everyone and welcome to the next video in our training for summer online courses. In this video we're going to discuss how you can create an assignment on Moodle. So to start, I have my page open here and we're going to be working inside of our theme park section. And as normal, I'm going to go to my upper right hand corner, click on the gear, turn my editing button on, and scroll down to the section where I want to add my assignment. And I want to click add an activity or resource, and here at the top choose assignment. Here under assignment name, we're going to put what the name of our assignment is, and in this case it's going to be Theme Park Documentary. And then here in the description, this is where we're going to put our instructions for our students. So I already have it written here, so I'm just going to paste it here, and you can see that I'm asking the students to upload a 2-page focus paper on a particular documentary. Now I want to include that documentary for them, so to do that I'm going to use our little insert button here for an audio or video file, and I have my link that I'm just going to copy and paste directly into that. Press Insert Media, and then here we have our link show up here. There is an option here to put additional files if you feel that you have something that you'd like to add that's extra, maybe something that is a little bit more descriptive with the instructions, or any files that you feel would assist with them writing their paper. I don't have that in this case, so I'm going to leave mine blank, but this is the place where you would add that. In our availability section that we have here, this is going to be the dates and times that everything is due and when you're going to accept or not accept this item from the students. So our allow submissions from is the earliest you will allow those students to start submitting papers. The due date is when it's due. The cutoff date is the absolute last date that you will accept that item from the student before they aren't allowed to submit it anymore. And the remind me to grade by option will remind you by this particular date that you have to grade this item. So I'm going to disable this option because I don't need it, and you can enable or disable any of these options really depending on how strict you are with your papers and due dates. Here under submission types, this is a very important part, especially when you are dealing with the assignment. Now you can do file submissions here, and this is what we want to do because we are asking them to submit a paper. So if we check off file submissions, this will provide a place for that student to do so. We will discuss the online text option in a few minutes. You can provide a word limit if you want, a max number of uploaded files, and you want to leave this max submission size as 3 GB. You can also get very specific if you only want to accept a certain file type, and you could choose that from this menu here. There are a few other options here. Feedback types, this is for you if you want to allow feedback files. If you want to send the student back their file with your notes, you can do that. Your submission settings are basically just stricter rules for the student when they're submitting an item. So if you want to require them to click the submit button or require they accept a submission statement, you would make those changes here. And the same thing for group submission settings. If you want them to submit in groups, you would change that here. And under notifications, this is you are the grader. So if you want to be graded when your student submits a file or an assignment, you would change this to yes and you'll get an email about it. And the same thing goes for late submissions as well. Here under grade, this is where when we set up our gradebook in an earlier video, this is where it's going to come in handy. So you can put the max grade that you want this item to be. I'm going to leave mine as 100, but you can change yours according to your syllabus. And leave the grading method as is, and under grade category we want to choose one of the categories that we created earlier. So we did create an assignments category, and now this assignment will go directly inside of that category into our gradebook ready to be graded. When we're done, click Save and Return to Course. And now if you clicked on Theme Park Documentary, you will see that our assignment is here along with the video. And when a student will have the option to, where we have this view all submissions and grade, the student will have the ability to add a submission. Now the other kind of assignment that I want to show you is the online text option. And so we're just going to create another assignment really quickly, same way we did before. And I'm not going to change any of the settings on it. I just want to make the assignment name Final Paper Topics. And in this case, I'm just going to paste some instructions to save some time. So you can see that I have asked the students to submit 3 ideas for their final paper. The only other change that I want to do here, instead of the file submissions option, I want to select online text. And if you like, we can also put it in a grade category of assignments, just so that way it doesn't get lost in the grade book. and we're going to click Save and Return to Course. And that'll take us back to our main page here. So I'm going to take this opportunity now to show you how you can log in as a student to see what they see. So I went here to the top by where my picture is, and I clicked the little downward arrow, click Switch Role to Student, and then once you're logged in, you scroll down and click on the assignment you want to see. So for the online text option, I click on Final Paper Topics, and now the student will click Add Submission, and then an online text editor will pop up here, and they will be able to put in their information that they want to put in and save the changes, and that will be their submission for the particular assignment. If you want to see what it looks like from the file submission option, you would click on Theme Park Documentary, and then they would click Add Submission and put in their paper there. So now you may be wondering, how do I go about grading these items? The first thing you need to do is log back in as the teacher, so you would click your name here at the top, press Return to My Normal Role, and it'll take you just back to the same page you were at, so we can go right to our main page. And you can grade it the way we spoke about in the grade book, directly from the grader report. You can go in, turn the editing on, and put your grades in that way, or you can go directly into the assignment itself. So let's use the example of the final paper topics, and someone has already submitted information on that. And again, you want to make sure, if you did just come over from being logged in as a student, you'll have to turn your editing button on, which I've already done. And we're going to click Final Paper Topics, and you can see that I have one submitted, so I would click on Grade. And then here on the right hand side, so we just have to go to the user who submitted it, and then I can see that this is the student's submission of their ideas, and I can give their feedback comments here and write what I think, if I think that they're not good ideas, if I think that they can choose one of those, and that'll save the changes, and that student will get that information on their end. And you would go about grading the other type of assignment the same way. At this point, the only time a paper will show up here is if it is in a PDF format, so if you do want to specify that, you can, if you want to read it here. Otherwise, it'll show up here on the right hand side if they've submitted something that you can then click on the link to the particular paper and read it that way. So I'm going to go back to my main page here, and I just want to show you, if you did go into your grader report here and you checked under assignments, our theme park documentary and our final paper topics are automatically in there for you. So you can see why it is a great idea to set your grade book up earlier, so you don't have to go back and forth changing things. You could just sort of add things as you go along. The assignment feature is a very useful feature, especially for an online class, because it allows the students to be involved and submit their assignments easily online, but it also allows you as the professor to keep it all in one place and have that grade directly on Moodle. In our next video, we're going to discuss how to create a forum.